Ultimately, every Israeli combat soldier going into the combat situation is briefed fully about his obligations under international human rights law. He's briefed about the importance of distinction between civilians and combatants. Obviously, civilians are not to be targeted. We take allegations of this type very seriously, and as we speak, there's an ongoing IDF investigation into such allegations. I would want to say about two things, though, about this report. I think anyone who reads it sees that it's based, once again, on a very problematic methodology. In other words, Human Rights Watch is relying on testimony from people who are not free to speak out against the Hamas regime. Human Rights Watch comes in, they leave. Who is there before, during and after, watching everything they're doing, watching the people they're interviewing in? And as a result, I'm afraid that people who speak out against the Hamas regime, who speak out against their tactics of using the Hamas regime as human shields, it's a problem for them, and very difficult from a methodological point of view.
That's not quite, to be completely honest, though, is it? I mean, we're also talking here about medical records of the victims, lengthy interviews with multiple witnesses interviewed several times, plus forensic ballistic evidence gathered at the scene.
Well, to be fair, some 6 weeks ago, Human Rights Watch put out a previous report based on the same methodology. And not just the Israeli government, but I believe that this was a report about our use of drones. They claimed we used them inappropriately.
Mr. Regev, so we're not talking about your use of drones, we're talking about the evidence. No, hang on, sir, 2 seconds. We are talking about the evidence that you say was not gathered. Human Rights Watch says, pardon me, the evidence was gathered. I'm answering your question. No, you're not. You're talking about drones.
You are
That's
wrong.
a different story.
You are wrong. Unfortunately, there's a systematic pattern of behavior with Human Rights Watch. That previous report was torn apart not by the Israeli government, but by Jains in London, the most established military people, I think, in the world, who said they were basing it on speculation and not on facts. And I'd ask the Human Rights Watch people themselves, how can anyone take you seriously as a credible, objective, professional human rights organization after you've publicly admitted that you've been fundraising in Saudi Arabia in tandem with that kingdom's authoritarian regime?
Mr. Regev, can I just ask you one final question, because we are running out of time, as we always do on these interviews. It sounds like you're doing exactly what Human Rights Watch accuses you of doing. You're talking about something else. You're talking about the Saudi connection, the alleged Saudi connection, i.e. Human Rights Watch says you stonewall. That sounds like you're stonewalling.
No, on the contrary, we released 2 weeks ago a 150-page report which specifically also talks about the charges against Israel on the issue of white flags, and we are conducting an ongoing investigation. All I'm saying is, does Human Rights Watch really have the credibility, the objectivity and the professionalism after, first of all, their previous report was severely criticized by objective people, not by the Israeli government, by the Jains people who basically said they don't know what they're talking about, and after it's been proved that they were working in tandem with the Saudi government, fundraising with Saudi Arabian government officials in the room? Where is their credibility, sir?
Mr. Regev, we have to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us from our bureau in Jerusalem.